There's a moment that quietly unsettles most men, not because it's painful, but because it's deeply confusing. It's not the moment she walks away, or even when she says you're not what she's looking for. It's when she returns. No grand apology, no explanation, just a casual message that shows up as if nothing ever happened. It might be a simple "hey," a reply to a story, or a message that says she was just thinking about you. And for many men, that moment triggers a wave of hope, curiosity, or even excitement. But beneath that emotional reaction is a harder reality that most don't see clearly. Her return is not always a gesture of affection. Often, it's something far less romantic. When a woman walks away or turns you down, it's not always a judgment of your worth as a man. More often, it's a reflection of her internal state at that time. Female psychology is highly sensitive to timing, emotion, and the subtle cues of energy and confidence. She may walk away because your energy didn't match hers, because she didn't feel a sense of direction in you, or simply because she wasn't emotionally ready to connect. Rejection, in many cases, has little to do with logic. It's more about emotional alignment. And when that alignment isn't there, she exits, not necessarily with finality, but with emotional certainty for that specific moment. But rejection isn't always permanent. In fact, many women continue to watch silently after they've walked away. While you're hurting, analyzing, and trying to figure out what went wrong, she may still be observing you from a distance. She's watching to see how you carry yourself. Do you spiral into neediness? Do you try to win her back? Do you become bitter and reactive? Or do you detach and evolve? The moment she sees that her absence hasn't destabilized you, something begins to shift in her mind. That shift is not always about regret. Sometimes it's just curiosity, but it grows quickly. She begins to wonder if she misjudged you. She replays things in her head and wonders if the version of you she rejected is still the version that exists. And when that question becomes too loud, she comes back. But not necessarily because she misses you in the way you hope. More often than not, it's because your silence started doing what your words never could. It made her feel something again. Whether it's a feeling of doubt, a flicker of nostalgia, or a need for emotional control, that feeling pulls her back toward you. But make no mistake, don't misunderstand it. Her coming back isn't some heartfelt turning point. She's not just trying to reconnect. She's trying to make sense of her own choice. This is where most men make the mistake of interpreting her return as redemption. But female behavior after rejection is complex. Some women come back for comfort. Some return for validation. Some are testing the waters to see if the door is still open. Very few return with clarity and accountability. That's why your response to her matters more than the fact that she returned at all. If you haven't grown during the time she was gone, you'll fall right back into emotional vulnerability. You'll treat her message as a second chance, when in reality, it might just be a moment of emotional boredom for her. A woman who truly values you doesn't vanish and reappear like a shadow. She doesn't leave you uncertain and come back with casual small talk. The ones who respect your worth do not need to disappear to realize it. When she left, she made a choice. That choice may have been influenced by emotion or impulse, but it was still her decision. And now that she's back, your job is not to emotionally reward her return. Most women don't return because they suddenly realized your value in isolation. They return because the way you handled rejection altered the emotional dynamic. In stoic terms, your non-reaction gave you back the power she assumed you'd surrender. When you didn't beg, plead, or chase, you created uncertainty in her mind. That uncertainty is powerful. It makes her question herself. It makes her reassess the situation. And most importantly, it makes her wonder whether you've become someone new, someone she can't easily define. And this is where you must be clear. Her message isn't necessarily about rebuilding a connection. It could be about seeing if she still has influence over you. If you fall back into the same dynamic, she gets her answer and likely walks away again, this time with certainty. But if you've changed, not just in appearance, but in clarity and self-worth, she feels that, and it unsettles her. Because now you're no longer reacting to her emotional timing. You're living by your own. There's a hard truth most men avoid because it's uncomfortable. A woman who left you once without real communication can return with warmth, but that warmth may have no depth. It may be driven by loneliness, comparison, or even ego. And if you mistake that warmth for something genuine, you'll step right back into the emotional confusion you thought you left behind. She may compliment you, she may flirt, she may even suggest hanging out. But none of those things confirm that she sees your value differently. They only confirm that she wants to see if she still has access to it. Your job is not to punish her or reject her out of spite. Stoicism is not about emotional coldness. It's about emotional control. Your role now is to observe, not react. To assess what her return costs you, not just what it gives. Because for many men, letting her back in comes at the price of their self-respect. And that's a price you don't recover from easily. The moment you accept her back without clarity, you're saying her confusion is more important than your peace. That she can choose you late and still be rewarded. But a man who respects himself doesn't make space for someone who only saw his value in absence. This doesn't mean all women who come back are manipulative. People grow, minds change. But the key difference lies in how they return. Does she return with honesty, with depth, with a willingness to address what happened? Or does she simply reappear, pretending nothing happened, hoping you'll carry the emotional weight again? That difference tells you everything. What Stoic men understand is this: your silence is not a weapon. It's a mirror. It shows her exactly who you've become, without needing to say a word. And if she comes back and finds a man who has evolved past needing her, she knows she can no longer move in and out of his life at will. That's power. Not in a loud, aggressive sense, but in a calm, self-assured one. That's the power that keeps you grounded when she tries to reignite something on her own terms. The brutal truth about why she comes back is this: it's not always love. Sometimes it's ego. Sometimes it's curiosity. Sometimes it's loneliness. And sometimes it's just because she sees your peace and wonders if she still belongs in it. But you are no longer the man waiting for answers. You are the one who decides what belongs in your life and what doesn't. Let her return be the final chapter, not the beginning of another loop. Because the man who truly grows doesn't wait for someone to recognize his worth. He lives in a way that makes it undeniable, whether she sees it or not. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss the next one.